So for today, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the packet to review reading all these things, and then we'll let you guys have a quiz. So starting off with these top two here. First of all, metric or standard? Metric. You can tell because they go up to 45 on the numbers here. Standard, the top number would be 20. It would go to 24 and then back to 0. These have 45s, so that means they go from 4 to 49 and back to 0. Also, these are numbered in 5s instead of by 1s. When we're dealing with metric, the number down here is whole millimeters. So it's before the decimal point. So 5, 6, 7. This is a half line. We are past the half line, so that's 7.5. Millimeters always have 2 decimal places after the decimal, so we're going to put that in there. Then over here we have 41 and 42. Now sometimes we go to the closest one and sometimes we go to the lower one. How do we know which one we're doing? Well, if there's a Vernier scale, we always go to the lower one. Since there is no extra scale here, we go to whichever one's closest. So which is closest, 41 or 42? 42. So 0.42. So if we add that up, that's 7.92 millimeters. Is that read? So over here, we're not quite to the 5, because we're not quite back to 0 yet. So this is 4.5. And then over here, 45, 46, 47. Which one's it closer to? 46. So that is 4.96 millimeters. So for number 3, how many whole millimeters? 6. Do we have the half line? Yeah. Yep. So 6.50. Off the thimble, what do we get? 33. Good. 0.33. So 6.83. Number 4, whole millimeters. 9. Are we past the half line? No. So it's just 9, and I can put whatever's on the thimble after the decimal point then. So what's on the thimble? 29. So 9.29 is all that one is. So if you don't have a half line, those are pretty easy to read. I want you to try to do these two on your own. Okay, for number 5, what do you get? 12.22 works for me. Number 6. Perfect. 13.5, and then 19 is 13.69. Any questions so far? We're going to save those for extra practice if you want them later. We're going to scroll down to here. Of course, now these are inches. You can tell because you can barely see the top of this as being a 20. And also it's labeled in ones here. So when we're dealing with inches, you have to remember these are tenths. There's no whole inches. So it's always 0 point. So it's 0.1, but we're past another line, past the 1. What does that mean? It's called the quarter mark, and that's another 25 thousandths. So that's 125. So it's 0.125 is what that first line is saying. So then we look at what's on the thimble here. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Between 7 and 8, do we go to the 8 or the 7? The 8 is closer. So that's 0.008. The thimble, when it's inches, is always thousandths. So 3 decimal places. So that is 0.133 inches. Again, since there's no Vernier scale, you go to whichever one is closer on the thimble. Same over here. This is 0.2, 2550, so 0.250. Then on the thimble, what do we have? Between 8 and 9, it is 8. So 0.258 inches. So for 13, where do we start out? What's on the barrel? 0.375. Good. Then what's on the thimble? 11. Perfect. So 0.375 plus 11 is 0.386 inches. And then on number 14 here, what's on the barrel? .475. Good. And on the thimble? 12. So that's 0.487 as that adds up to. So I would do these two on your own. Bless you. Okay, so for number 15, what do you get? Perfect. 0.565. From here it's 0.550, and that is the 15. So 0.565. Perfect. Number 16? 0.634. Good. This is 0.625 here. And that is 9 thousandths. So that's 0.634. So we'll leave these next couple for practice. Yeah. Number 8. Sure. So that's just past the 0.8, right? So that'd be 0.800. Then this is, looks like 7 is its closest one. 0.007. So that'll be 0.807. that make sense? It's just kind of weird because there's no quarters and you're not used to having to slip that extra zero in there. Oh, sure. Yep. Yep, it's tricky with the decimal places on those, especially when you have to slip in zeros in the middle like that. So 21 and 22. We're throwing in the Vernier scale. What you do is you ignore all of this stuff over here and just read, the barrel and the thimble like normal. This just adds an extra digit on the end of it. So this is metric because you can see it goes up to a 25. Standard would only go up to 20, so this is obviously going past 20. So this is 1, 2, 3.5. Remember, since we're millimeters, the first number is the whole millimeters before the decimal point. Then on the thimble here, doesn't matter which one we're closest to, we always round down. So this is going to be 13. And there's two ways we can interpret it. We can add these together to get 3.63. Then just put the Vernier digit on the end. This is a 3 lining up like that. Or we could realize that this is 13. And what the Vernier digit is telling us, that's 13.3 hundredths, so 0.133. Either way, it ends up being the same thing. The Vernier digit ends up adding a digit on the end of our measurement. So this reads exactly like a regular millimeter micrometer. Let's do this one here, and I'll show you. So the numbers are on bottom instead of on top of the axes, though. So this is 5, and this is 6 whole millimeters. Didn't go past the half line, so it's just 6.00. Over here now, this is 21 that lines up, so it's 0.21. And it's the, if you want to grab Scott a packet off the corner of the table there. This is 2.1, and it's 0 on the Vernier scale that lines up. So I can put, so it's telling us it's exactly 21. Not 21.0, not 21.1 or 21.2. It's exactly 21. So we add this up. This is 6.210 millimeters. I'll go through a couple more with you before I have you guys try some here. So this 10, 11.5. So 11.5. Here is the 16, 17. So 0.17. Again, it doesn't matter which one we're closer to. You always go down when you have a Vernier scale. And the 1 lines up, so that's telling me we're just past 17. That's actually 17.1. So 11.671 millimeters. So over here, 10, 11, 12. We're just past 0, so we did just pass the 13 there. So it's 13.00. 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like we're closer to 9, but remember, since it's a Vernier scale, we always go to the smaller one. It's 8. Then we go over here, it's 5. It's actually 8.5 is what that's saying. So 0.085. It's exactly halfway in between. Yep. So this is 13.085 millimeters. I'm going to have to try these two quick. I'll have you talk me through this one. On number 25, how many whole millimeters? 25 isn't millimeters anymore, is it? Screwed that up. I should have drew one of the other ones. But, oh well, this is inches now, isn't it? Because we go from 20 back to 0 and we're labeled in ones here. So this is inches. So we're going to read the main scale like we normally would. For inches, of course, this is 0.1. And then what? 2550. You got it. So 0.150. On the Vernier scale, or on the thimble, it's between 10 and 11. Doesn't matter which one it's closer to. We always go with the 10. And what do we get off the Vernier? 4. So that's actually 10.4 is where that's at. So if we add that up, that is 0.1604 inches. 26 over here. How do I read the main scale? What's on the barrel here? 0.250, you got it, 0.250. On the thimble, 0.010, 10 thousandths, and then my vernier tells me it's 10.3. So this is 0.2603 inches. I'm going to try 27 and 28 on your own, see how you do. So number 27, what do you get? Very good. 0.3497 inches. So this is 0.3. It looks like it's past the 50, but it's not because we're not past the 0 yet. So it's 0.325. Then this is 24. So 0.247. And that adds up to 0.3497. Good job. Number 28. Careful. We just passed the 0, which means we just passed a mark here. So that's 0.475. We did pass that. Now it is 0 here. We're between 0 and 1. That's 0.00 and 4. So it's 0.4754. Nice try, though. That was a tough one. Then, of course, back to the calipers. Number 29 here. This is metric. One, you can tell because it's 0.01 millimeters on the dial. Also, because it's labeled in ones here, there's only one set of numbers. Remember, this really stands for 40. 41, 2, 3, 4. 44 point. We read it at this little notch. 85 is what's on the dial. For metric, what's on the main scale goes before the decimal point. What's on the dial goes after the decimal point. So this one, 35.81. So for 31 here, what do I do? The main scale here says what? That's actually 19, right? Perfect. 19.48. So how about 32? What do we get on the main scale down here? 33. Up and then 0.56 off the dial. When I read these two on your own. So for number 33, what do we get? $13.66, good. 34. 38.52, very good. So I'll leave those next couple for you guys to practice. 37, you can see goes back to standard now because it says 0.001 inches. And also there's two different sets of numbers on the main scale here. So this is 1 whole inch. This is the only time you have anything before the decimal point when you're dealing with inches. So 1.2. We're past the 2 there. Then what's on the dial goes after that. 62. So that's the nice thing about calipers is you don't have to add anything together. You're just progressing right through the digits as you read them. So this is 0.7. And the dial says 77. So for 39, where do we start? 2.3. 5.3, very good. Number 40. How many whole inches? 1.5 and then 6.9. Maybe try these two on your own quick. So for number 41, what do you read there? This is a tough one, so be careful. 2.99, very good. It looks like it's on the 2.1, but you see it has not quite got back to 0 yet. So it's 2.0, that's 99. Perfect. 42. 1.763. Wonderful. I'll let you have those last two to practice. This is Vernier scales on calipers. These are metric here to start with. So remember, you read it at the 0 of the Vernier scale. So this is 31, 32. Point.
Oh, I've never seen this before.
Vernier calipers?
Never seen this. I'm scared.
Oh. So that's 32 is where that's at. And we see which one lines up here. It looks like this one lines up. Well, there's 3 of them that line up, and when there's 3 of them that look like they line up, you always take the middle one. So that is 5. That's right on the 6. So 32.60. This one here, 25. Point. Let's see which one lines up. It's like either this one or this one, doesn't it? I think we'll go with this one. That's 1.5. So that's 15. 25.15 millimeters. I'm going to leave the 47 and 48 for you guys to try. We're going to jump down here. These are inch vernier calipers. So this is, obviously this is the 1, so this over here where this is the 0 whole inches, 0.475, because it's 4, 25, 50, 75. Then on the vernier, we see what lines up. Well, it looks like all 4 of those line up, doesn't it? So I'd be taking one of the middle ones. So it looks like here, 12 or 13. Which one do you guys think?
13.
We'll go 13. So 0.013. That adds up to 0.488 inches. So same over here. This is 2 whole inches, so that must be 1 whole inch. 1.7, 2550, so 1.750. Does that make sense so far? That part we've kind of seen before, right? So then up here we got to see what line, remember we're just reading at the 0. So now up here we see what lines up. I would have said either the 6 or the 7. Should we go with the 6? So 1.756. So you can see when there's a Vernier scale, it's not always exact. Sometimes you're kind of guessing between 2 of them. If there's 3 of them that line up, you always take the middle one. But if it's 2 or 4, you've got those 2 in the middle that you're going to have to kind of guess between. Okay, you ready?
That's why spaceships blow up on the launch.
There's a big part of that here.